What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. That's Dean 7904 if you want to get all technical. This is the start of 2+ hours nonstop Mlb Dfs conversation. Taking y'all straight up the lock. First pitch tonight, I believe it's 7:05. You have STL cards warming up in the bullpen. I'll be coming in for the crunch time. You may get a tilted STL cards because currently his Cardinals are down 1 in the ninth. We're going to keep an eye on that game for sure. And also, DerekCarty, CEO of the Bat and the Blitz, as well as Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth, myself, and Head Chopper and Kirk D's, three-man booth, not messing around. It's a big boy slate, 11-gamer going down. I know they all have the soccer fever. They want to talk about the big debut for Messi tonight. Of course, the Women's World Cup. USA takes on Vietnam a little bit later. But this is a baseball show, so we got to keep it on baseball. Chop, I know you're a big fan of Messi, big soccer guy. But, we got to keep the show on the rails for sure. Chop, how was Friday treating you?
Nice little Friday, Dean. No big deal, Doing the Friday stuff. Had it already hit up Costco today. Good.
What'd you get?
What do we get?
Oh, I needed essentials. I needed garbage bags, and
but you walked out of there with only essentials?
Just garbage bags? Did you get some samples?
No, I had a list. I forget.
I stumbled upon a nice new product. Brownie. It's brownie brittle.
You see, the thing about right now is I'm trying not to just scoop up all the desserts and junk food everywhere, and because it's been too much this summer, so I'm trying to lay off of that. But I did look like they had so much junk food there that I could have just absolutely filled the cart with, but trying not to do that, Dean. So I just wanted to, have my list of the stuff I needed for around the house, and then and get out of there without doing like
cereal.
I've already got plenty of cereal. I didn't need no more cereal. I got too much cereal on hand.
Costco's not the place to buy. It's too much. It's like you'd have to put it in plastic containers, and I don't know.
You're also documented to one flavor. If you like variety, who needs 17 boxes of Cheerios, right? So
they do have a variety pack. They have a variety pack.
Fair enough. Did you go to Costco as well? You seem to be pretty.
I went to Costco yesterday.
And you got your brownie brittle or whatever.
Well, that's why I stumbled upon it yesterday, and I bought it, and it's delicious.
All right, but how many ounces and pounds of brownie brittle did you commit yourself to?
No, not much. Hold on, I'm gonna get it for you. As a matter of fact.
Was there a sample person? Is that kind of lured you in? The samples will get you every time. All right. Well, we got Kirk Wood's going to be bringing his brownie brittle on in just a second. Chop, this slate today. Actually, that was quick. Never mind. I was trying to kill some time, but he's all over it. Is that even open though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. It's got the resealable deal. Yeah. It doesn't come up great with the green screen, but I see what you're working with. You want to give us a crunch live on air? Give us a crunch.
I'll do it for you, for the people.
A little ASMR for the people.
This is what it looks like. It's thin. Crunchy. You hear that?
You're going to give us, I know you get the Juggalo bombs. You're going to give us the brownie brittle bomb of the day or something like that?
No. Juggalo bombs is that name is sticking, unfortunately. So we're going there.
All right. Fair. By the way, in chat, Ackboy says that brownie brittle, that's old news, man. That's welcome to 5 years ago. You just figured out that brownie brittle was a thing?
Yeah, I never saw it before.
Well, there you go. Now they're just throwing out different cereals. Chop, you in on that Reese's Puffs? Is that one of your go-tos? That seems like too much going on.
Certainly not a go-to. I've had it before, though. It's all right. It's hard. It's hard to mess up a cereal for me. I'm a big cereal guy, so it's hard to really mess it up. That's fine. That's fine.
Apple Jacks. There's one of the worst ones on the board. No. How about that?
Oh, I love Apple Jacks.
Come on, Dean. What the Dean?
Yeah, God, you have the worst steaks.
Apple Jacks.
Did you hear this guy, Chop?
It's ludicrous, man.
Where do you have Apple Jacks, Kirkwood? You have it on it's on the podium, top 3.
I buy it. I buy it on occasion. That's all it needs to. I don't need to have,
All right, that's in the rotation. All right, fair enough. Yeah, I thought that's the last one to go in the variety pack. It's I guess we'll do the Apple Jacks and go shopping tomorrow. But
no way. Apple Jacks way better than Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops are overrated though. They're not very good either. So yeah. All right. We've derailed the show already. Well, plenty of time to do that going forward. But Chop, it's a Friday night. Are you having some fun? You look like you're having fun running 150. What are we doing? Because this slate, it's 11 games. We were talking about it in the Discord. You guys should hang out with us at the Discord. Myself, Kirkwood, Chop, some of the members as well. We've also opened up the Discord for non-premium members. There are still some premium channels, but the MLB channel that we were chatting in, that is free. That's for everybody to hang out in. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Jump in the MLB chat conversation. And then there is the live stream chat channel as well. Going to try to keep an eye on both those things going on. Obviously, when Roth comes on for Crunch Time, that's where he pulls his questions from first. That's the RotoGrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Join the conversation. We're talking about the slate throughout the day. And Choppa, it's really wide open, man. You got everything. You got some cheap starting pitchers. If you want some cheap starting pitchers, you have some cheap. You have some studs. Ohtani. We have, your boy Framber Valdez, all his quality starts. Good matchup in Oakland. Joe Ryan, 2 first names. A lot of pitchers with 2 first names in the slate, by the way, if that's your thing. I think there's at least 5. Some probably don't want to roster. Tommy Henry, looking at you. As far as offenses, nothing really jumping off the board. Like there's no 6 totals, I don't think. Cincinnati, the highest total. Maybe it's Atlanta just because they're Atlanta, but the matchup's not spectacular. Against Freddie Peralta, who's pretty good. Their total is less than 5, which is kind of sort of somewhat surprising. I think Cincy is the highest total on the board there. That Cincinnati-Arizona game. Probably the highest total, the most popular game. Tommy Henry versus Ben Lively. Still waiting for an Arizona lineup. But it's wide open, Chop. It seems like a great slate to run a bunch of lineups. I don't run a bunch of lineups, so I'm having a hard time figuring out which route to go. I have many thoughts, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to go. And hopefully this conversation will lead me in a direction where I feel more adamant about. But as far as a dominant team, I'm not there just yet. I like the individual pieces, but I'm curious your thoughts. Give me the overview.
Dean, first off, I don't know if I'm going to be able to recover from all my best balls right now with J.K. Dobbins being placed on the physically unable to perform list. I don't know what I'm going to do now, man. Yep. This is shocking news, and I don't know if my portfolio can recover, Dean. So
I feel like you're mocking somebody by saying this.
We'll have to figure that one out. I'm going to have to reset my best ball drafts and start over now. But it's a fun slate. It's 11 games. I think there's high-end pitching and there's cheap pitching, all viable. We can get into the specifics. I think there's good stacks with decent team totals, and there are good stacks that are going to be very, very under-owned. So we can get into all that, but I just think it's I'm going 150 on each site.
Oh boy.
What?
Let's do it. Let's have a good time, man. It's Friday night. You got that Costco money.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, I spent the money at Costco.
Now you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, I got the 150 money. I got it's just, it is what there's no way I'm going to try to, I'm not going to try to sit down and build teams by hand, Dean. That's just not my style. So I can't do that, Dean. I've had enough of that.
I am. I'm old school, I guess, but I'm not making 150 lineups.
Man, Dean, back in the day before we had lineup builders and stuff, I'd have to make 150 by hand every week for the NFL.
Whoa.
It was nuts. But they didn't have.
What'd you do if there was a late scratch? There was no universal swap, was there? I don't believe there was.
Nah, I mean, you had to figure it out, Dean. Then you have to go back and do everything
once. For when Yahoo didn't have no optimizer was I
remember that.
They had all that overlay in a huge tournament, whatever. And I remember it was hours.
Funny thing, Dean. Funny thing is that when they first started dropping millionaire makers in football, and you could enter 150 and all that good stuff, I was actually in a little I don't want to say a group, but there was a small group, and we would okay, if one of us hits top 2 or top 3, we're going to share some of the winnings kind of thing. One of the people in that group was the RotoGrinders founder, Cal Spears. So some would say because of that initiated him to go ahead and start working on a lineup builder. Ain't that something, Dean?
Well, there you go.
I might be the godfather of lineup builder, Dean. Who knows how that works?
You're taking credit. That's a really long route. You take the scenic route.
At some point when we were building these 150 each, I probably chimed in on text and go, man, wouldn't it be good if we had something that built our lineups for us, man? Probably my deal, man, Dean.
Did you carry? Was there's somebody in that group that did not carry their weight and like just was benefiting from everybody else? Who was holding the rest of the team out? You want to call them out?
I don't even remember some of the names, Dean. But no, Dean. Everybody holds their own, Dean.
There's definitely somebody in that group that did not bink and was absolutely benefiting from others, being hot for whatever how that works. But you're just being modest, Chop. You probably was that group a thing when you were winning your Million Makers, or no? Hopefully not.
Oh no, this was way back. This was before, like I said, Dean. This is before lineup builders, so this is a long time ago.
Gotcha. Kirkwood, give me your thoughts as far as the slate today. You're old school, right? Hand builder, I assume. We're just making one main lineup tonight. What's the plan?
Yeah, I always want to, so when I have like days with no content or shows, then I usually try to do 150. But like now with the baby, it's just I get really tired, so I have been doing it a lot less. But so I usually make my 3 lineups, play my main one on Yahoo, and make my 3 on DraftKings. That's what I have in there right now tonight. But I need to do more. I just need more time, Dean. You know, I need more sleep.
Time's a commodity, man.
It's crazy. But yeah, this slate is bananas to me, right? So first of all, we have 3 top end pitchers, right? Shohei, Framber, Joe Ryan. I like them all, and I like them pretty much the same. And you know, you can say, oh, Framber is the best because he has a low walk rate, but Joe Ryan's walk rate is even lower. Joe Ryan has the highest swinging strike rate of the 3. Shohei has the highest K rate. The matchups are all good. They're all positive. You know, Pitt is not a team that scares me. That's a team that Shohei could certainly, do very well against. Then you got Oakland against Framber. You don't have to say much, though they are a little bit better against lefties. And then you got Joe Ryan against the White Sox, who have been horrendous all season, 12th in K percentage, 27th WRC plus, and they're on the road where they're even worse. So I like all 3 of the top end guys. And then we have that mid range, which we have 2 upside arms. We've got Lynn, who certainly, gets the matchup, number 1 strikeout matchup you can get against right-handed pitching, is a guy that will strike out some, but he also will walk people and will give up bombs. But you can't deny his ceiling. Then you can pivot off of him to Kikuchi, who gets the second best strikeout matchup, little revenge on his mind. He's right there. And then we have the bottom range, right? Which probably no one's going to want to touch except for Schmidt. We got my boy Schmitty, who's another incredible matchup against the Royals, who are 5th in K percentage, dead last in WRC plus, roll out like a AAA lineup for most days. Salvi, the only real bat there. And then
win as well, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I know, but he Ks a lot. And then you got 3. I'm interested in 3 really cheap arms if I need them. And the reason, and I don't need them. We don't need the Braves per se tonight, but I don't think the Braves are going to get played a lot tonight. And to me, the answer on every slate is the Braves.
Always.
Right? Always. It's always the Braves. So we got the Marshman, which is going to be controversial to some. The Yankees are bad. This kid, the strikeout stuff has been there. Who knows? We'll see what we'll see going forward, but I'm willing to take a shot there. We got my boy Cutter Crawford, Red Sox, against not a great K matchup against the Mets, but certainly could do, rack up some innings. And then we've got Oviedo for cheap. I mean, this is 5K, 5.5, 5.7. So like, I'm building my bats, and then I'm going and just plugging in whichever pitchers, out of that, whichever I can, whatever I can afford. Obviously, I would like Joe Ryan, I would like Framber, but I'm totally fine with all these other guys too.
You got boots in the ground there, Kirkwood. You step outside in Boston. That's the one game that's popping a little bit that Roth wants us to keep an eye on. Currently yellow-orange in Boston. And I know you got your dew point model, and I'm not sure if you're going to be sharing that with the people or keep it behind your paywall, or it's still in the beta.
I tried to do a little Discord special and fire it up, but we had a syntax error that we had to
shocking, yeah,
have to correct. So I had to put it back down.
Are the people excited? Are you getting like tons, like hundreds of DMs asking about the dew-point model?
That's taking up all my time too. Is all the DMs? Everyone's saying, "Where's this dew-point model? How can I get access?" Like, chill. Give me your name, your email address. I'll put you on a beta list.
Do we know? You have a thought as far as Boston? We're gonna keep an eye on it. We'll see what Roth has to say. He comes on in an hour.
I don't. It's cloudy.
Yellow orange.
I defer to Roth. It's cloudy here. I think I don't think it's supposed to be too bad. But what did Roth say?
He's got it currently yellow orange. I can read it if you'd like. If the forecast works out the way models are showing it now, the heavy stuff all misses or holds west. And the game plays through a few showers. There's enough storm activity around, though, that I'm going to hedge this early forecast with a yellow-orange. I guess he's going to update it soon. And see if I can lower that before first pitch. I'm cautiously optimistic here, but there's enough activity that we'll need to check back in later. And later will be very, very soon. So, yeah, that doesn't sound like, we're afraid just yet, but just be aware. Yellow-green in Minnesota, straight green in Washington. Yellow for the Yankees, and the Cubs game already happened. So, that, by the way, did you live bet that, Kirkwood? Because you're talking with producer Steve. Of course, your Red Sox and producer Steve's Mets are playing against each other. You guys talked a little bit of smack pre-show, and you said he's a mush. He was betting the Cubbies, and you were going to counter and live bet the Cardinals. Did you happen to get that in? Because I'm sorry to say.
Well, let me tell you, everything's coming up Kirkwood because I went in and it went off. It wouldn't let me. So.
There you go. So you didn't lose, and shout out to producer Steve. His Cubs hold on, and we're gonna get an especially ornery STL cards later. He'll be on in 55 minutes. I think he's essentially given up in this season. The Cardinals already started selling off. They sold off one of their relief pieces. Genesis Cabrera, I believe, was the guy that was traded away to somebody today. I don't recall who, but and Hicks is gonna get moved at some point as well, I imagine. I think we have, is it 10 days? Is it the first? Like, is that usually like August 1st when the trade deadline goes down? Is that typically when it is? I think it is. Going to be curious to see what goes down there. But hey, Chop, it's DFS. We care about today and today only. We don't care about the trade deadline until 10 days from now. But by the way, interesting comment here in chat. Mr. Richard says, I got 11 starting pitchers in my DK pool. And that's like, yeah, Kirkwood, you mentioned a ton. And if you're running 100 or 150, I think there's a lot to mention. Somebody's mentioning Miller. Like, you didn't mention Miller, but Miller for sure has the upside on any given day.
And Gavin Williams.
He's another good arm, another good young arm that, he's going to have his spots for sure. I was talking about this in the Discord earlier today, like Lance Lynn, maybe even Kikuchi. Both those guys, I think, are maybe players you want to get over the field as far as rostering them and as far as attacking them. I just think that, like, just banking on like the 95 percentile outcome or the 5 percentile outcome, and like they're going to live and die on their homers or non-homers if the ball dies in the warning track or if the ball goes over the fence. That's just how it's going to go. And we have really, really cheap Seattle bats and really, really cheap Minnesota bats. So we're not talking hitting just yet, but those are guys that can sort of, if you're spending up on bats, you want to spend up on Reds, you want to spend up on Braves. Which, by the way, Jimmy says Shohei's coming to Atlanta. Where would he even bat in that lineup? I mean, I can't even imagine, but and I don't think that's happening. Although Atlanta has some incredible contracts, like a lot of their players.
They need pitching badly too.
That's true too, but that's Ohtani. They get both. He would be a pitcher as well. Atlanta would be amazing if they can get Ohtani. Where would he hit in that order? Acuna, it would be Acuna Ohtani, right? I guess it would be 1-2. Oh my gosh, and then it would be, I guess, well, yeah, it would be ridiculous. It would be completely silly. But that'll be a lot of fun. But all right, Chop, your thoughts as far as starting pitchers? And Kirkwood did say, kind of laid it out. Ohtani, Valdez, Joe Ryan, 3 best pitchers. I think that's pretty safe to say, kind of in their own tier. 3 best pitchers in the slate. Do you have a lean amongst those 3? Currently, our ownership projection: Ohtani 33% on DK, Valdez is getting 35%, and Joe Ryan's getting about 18%. So he's the least popular amongst those 3. Is that kind of where you land as well? Are you taking a stand amongst those 3 in your 150?
I don't know what you mean by taking a stand, but I like Framber the most, and I like Shohei, and I probably like Ryan the least. But I mean, it's the 3 top guys. It doesn't really; they're all good. So that's saying
I meant not to cut you off, but I meant like maybe you would get 70% Ohtani and like 10% Ryan, or like are you gonna be distinctly different as far as where the ownership is?
Well, yeah, the distinct difference will be Framber will be the most owned out of those three for me. I like Framber the most. Just pondering the Oakland lineup that just came out. I'm not particularly impressed with it. Not that I was going to be anyway, but
yeah,
it's really bad. So I don't know. I like Framber the most, but I could see either one of those other two doing well. I'm in the same boat though. You get past those guys, and you got a bunch of options there in that mid-tier range that are really good. Sure, Lance Lynn, Clark Schmidt, he's fine too. KC really stinks. I like JP Sears. He's okay. Houston, I don't think I've seen a Houston lineup yet, but I can't imagine it's going to be very good right now.
Nope.
They get good. So sometimes they mash and they come alive, but man, just in total, the lineup doesn't look really good right now. There's a lot of those guys he mentioned, and I did highlight Alec Marsh. I did highlight Alec Marsh near close to showtime. I did mark him down because the Yankees, they do sting, Dean. I was looking at the lineup, and it's pretty bad. They don't get on base. They don't hit for average. They don't really draw walks per se. They don't have any stolen base upside, so they're not going to move around the bases on him. And now they don't even have much power. It's very middling team in power, so they're just not good. This guy's he had a really bad first start, and even in that bad first start, he went a K per inning, which is a good average. That's what we want. He's maintained that K per inning throughout his 3 starts. Now he gets the Yankees. So, if he's and I don't think he's a great long-term guy, in Major League, but this is a great salary for him and a good matchup. So I could go there. Just some of the other guys, I thought Ranger Suarez, I think is pretty good tonight, but I thought he would be a little bit cheaper. He's really not. Actually, I kind of think Gavin Williams is the other side. I think I'd rather stack against Gavin Williams than I would rather play Gavin Williams. And then you got a guy like Senga, if the weather holds, like he could either be really good or really bad. So he could be really good tonight. You never know. He's an option. And, there's some good pitchers out there, but I think that's where my core is right there, Dean. Framber, the most. I'll definitely have Shohei and Joe Ryan. And then I'll go, Lynn, Schmidt, Sears, Marsh, a bunch of those mid-range / cheap guys. I like them all. That's the beauty of running 150, Dean. I can have a bunch of different combinations. GPPs.
You got every combination possible.
Yeah, I can cover. Yeah, I can pretty much cover every combination possible, and that's great. That's why I do. That's why I do it, Dean.
That's what Twitter. Is that not true? Is Twitter lying?
No, Twitter's telling the truth, man. I could take.
Are we organic? Are we organic tonight, or are we doing
man
4-mans or 5-mans?
On DraftKings on 11
games?
Good question. On DraftKings on 11 games, I kind of have to go and force the 4 and 5 mans, probably more 5-man stacks than anything. You just kind of got to do that on DraftKings tonight with some of these offenses we're going to talk about. I really think there's some big time spots there for offense.
10% each. Do you weight them or do you like do
tonight? That's a good question. I think tonight I'm going to pick out about 5 or 6, and then I'll make sure I get ample amounts of those stacks, and I'm not going to leave the lineup generator to spread everything around for me. I kind of don't want that tonight. I think there's about 5 or 6 we'll talk about. A couple of them really stand out.
Are you on FanDuel? Are you going 4-4, 4-3, 4-2, or you're locking in just 4 and just everything else organic, or what's the strategy there?
FanDuel's organic for me, Dean. FanDuel's more organic. If it happens within the realm of my player pools and everybody, then that's fine. But I'm not forcing any stacks. I probably won't set up a single rule that I have to have 3 or 4 guys in a lineup or anything like that. FanDuel's weird like that, Dean. It's really, with the salary cap and everything, it's really not hard to make good lineups without having a stack. And so I find a lot of times I can win without stacking over there. So we'll see how it plays out tonight.
The only counter to that is that this way the scoring system is on FanDuel. You benefit more from the correlation, just the way scoring works and points work. But it's easier to make good lineups as well. I think that's what you're saying. Because just the way salaries are tonight. We did get a Arizona lineup. Arizona should be pretty popular, taking on Cincinnati. Locked in a good ballpark, locked in for 9 innings. Perdomo leading off. Marte, Carroll, probably one of the better plays in the slate. Walker batting cleanup. Gurriel, McCarthy, Rivera, Moreno, and Alec Thomas. That rounds out your D-backs. Just taking a peek at chat. Hey, if you guys are in chat, kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe and turn on those notifications. Feel free so you know when we go live. Of course, if there's a baseball slate going down, we're going to be going live. But just in case, get that little friendly reminder. I don't know how many likes we need for Chopper's Knockers or for Kirkwood's Brownie Bites, or I guess the Juggalo Bombs are lurking. We got the Triple G plays from Chop coming in soon. I see Eric in chat asking if anybody's on Bradis. Just me? Well, yeah, it's a 640 game, so just you.
BVP suggestions? I know that people want those.
People were speculating in the Discord today. I don't know if they were privy to your model, Chop, but there's some speculation. They're kind of guessing. I mean, I know there's so many numbers to get crunched to figure out, like, who could spin out for your BBP play of the day, suggestion of the day. But there was some speculation in the Discord. So
yeah, I saw that, and I'll have them know that this very, very, great effort, but they are wrong. That's not the JD Martinez is not the BVP play of the day. And by the way, Dean, I don't give out the Triple G unless there's Spidey Bombs on the show too. So unless TJ shows up, I cannot counter his Spidey Bomb with a Triple G. I don't know if you know how that works, Dean. So
I know the Green Goblin, Spidey, they're enemies. I get it.
Yes. Yeah. So I'd have to have
Spidey
Spidey Bombs on the show or dropping Spidey Bombs in chat for me to counter him with the Triple G.
Well, right on cue, TJ's hanging out in chat. He's saying he's actually he says the wife is away, so he's going to be hand building some lineups tonight. He's got some extra time on his hands. So I think he says he's hand building 20 lineups this evening. Hand building lineups, to be clear, is what I don't know where you're at, Chop. He's making lineups. His Spidey Bombs are dropping at 100 likes. So when he drops his Spidey Bombs, you can feel free to counter with your Triple G plays. Andrew wants to know, we're not really talking about hitters just yet, but as a general thought, can we pick on Oviedo with the Angels tonight? I mean, you want to get to the Angels without Ohtani? Ohtani, of course, like, unless I missed something, he's still not available. The sites haven't figured it out yet, right? He's still not available. Neto, Ohtani, Moniak, Ward, Moose, Theis, Renfroe, Cabbage, and Rengifo. I mean, it's a huge slate. I don't think I'm picking on. I don't really love Oviedo. He's sort of fine, but if you're going to rank the 22 teams tonight, Kirkwood, as far as stacks and stackability, for me, the Angels are like 18 or something. I mean, I'm not playing the Angels. You can do what you want. You're an adult. Blender is going to tell you can play wherever you want, but it's baseball. There's goofiness, but I'm not on the Angels tonight, Kirkwood. Are you on the Angels?
Should be a little marine layer there this evening. I just don't have faith in that lineup. Maybe, there's too many other spots I like better. So I'm fine pitching Oviedo, but it's not like you're getting a bunch of leverage. I mean, you're not getting leverage or anything on this. Oviedo is going to be like a deep play, but no, I'm not on them. Like, no, sorry.
Hey, Chop, when you run your 150, is there certain teams where you just X out, or is it like no more than one player, or are you limiting the player pool that way?
Yeah, there are certain teams that I will X out completely that I don't want any part of, 1 through 9. None of them.
You want to? Is like Oakland one of them, or the Angels one of them? Have you figured that out just yet?
Definitely not. Definitely not the entire Angels lineup. I'm not going to X out. No, but Oakland is definitely one of them I don't want.
Their team total is below 3 for what it's worth, but you don't really see very often. Framburst is so solid.
Bobby Fies in chat saying no marine layer, so I apologize. I was just trying to give a reason. Yeah,
you got to stick to boots on the ground in Boston.
Where's
he got me. He got me. Bobby called me. You know what? I deserve that, Bobby. So thank you. I'll be better.
He's out there in Cali, so he's on top of it. I assume he's still out there in Cali. So he's on top of it more so than you are. Let's see. Juice is asking thoughts on Marsh against the Yankees, against the trash Yankees.
Wow,
we just
man.
talked about it. You missed it, Juice. Both these guys actually said that they're. And now, Kirk, when you make 1, 2, 3 main lineups, it's impossible. From what I'm hearing, there's a chance Marsh might be one of your main pitchers tonight.
He's in it, right? He's in it right now.
Oh wow, there you go. Is that a Yahoo thing or is that like a 5-1?
No, not Yahoo. No, I would never on Yahoo.
Okay, I don't know how much he is on Yahoo.
I mean, Yahoo, I can just take the top 2 pitchers every night I want and still get every bat I want. So it's
their pricing is so goofy. Like just play the players that are cold, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But on DK, I mean, he's dirt cheap. He's coming off a monster game. He's got a decent repertoire. He's obviously he could be wild. Let me check the umpire there. Is that extreme pitchers umpire? That's great.
Easy to hit umpire.
Yeah, sorry, easy
Easy for
peasy. Is that what it
pitchers.
stands for?
Easy for pitchers. Easy for pitchers.
Where's the F? The F silent?
Yes. Sorry, Chop. I won't make that mistake again. Anyways, but the Yankees are dog water, man. They're horrendous. It's like, you have to take this chance for 5K. I mean, you can do whatever you want on your bets. Could it blow up? Yeah, sure. But I'm trying to win tonight.
What's the origin of that phrase, dog water? Is that like, I think that's a Northeastern thing. You don't hear people say dog water down here. But is that, Chop, do they say dog water in Texas? Is that something they say there? A lot of Texas sayings. Does that work?
I mean, I haven't heard it a lot in person in Texas, but the thing about 2023 is we spend most of our time online, so we're not just limited to one particular region of the country when it comes to phrases and sayings.
Yeah,
I've heard of it before. I feel like it's not something.
I know you've been in Discord the last couple of days.
Yeah, I've been active.
But all the time before where you haven't been in Discord, a lot of these sayings come up and get thrown around a lot. So like Chop is saying, we're all working from home. We're all, it's more of a global thing now. So you can't just pin this to one area.
Well, if I was ever allowed in your secret chat, I probably would have heard this before. But you guys, you have a very strict limitation. No one will vouch for me.
The thing is I went out on a limb for you to bring you into the CPC when we had that going, and you just lurked. You never really did anything.
I think DC got me in there, to be honest. Are you sure it was you?
I had to approve it. He turned to me and I was like, I don't know, DC. I don't know. You're twisting my arm.
Dean.
Here,
Nobody likes a lurker, Dean. Nobody likes.
I wasn't lurking. I just forgot I was in there. To be honest,
you were lurking. You were definitely lurking. There was some good stuff to lurk.
I was not a lurker. I'm not the guy
participating
on the plane,
lurking.
like looking at your text messages. I won't be that guy. By the way, multiple thoughts here, different opinions. Robbie in Texas says no dog water in Texas. Speaking of Houston, and then J3 says, well, it's a West Texas thing. So there you go. So I don't know where you are as far as are you West, Chop? My Texas geography is not spectacular. San Antonio is like in the center, right? Is that the Tennessee triangle?
Chat is really deep. Chop, what do you think of this? Did you see Derek's comment? Lurking, aka peeping.
Yeah.
Me? What? That's not, first of all, it's a heck of a leap.
No, it's not that far off. Dean, let's just imagine, Dean. Imagine you, or imagine someone, not saying you, imagine someone gets invited to an event. Let's call it an orgy. All right. Let's just call it an orgy. And let's say that guy who gets invited just walks around with his hands in his pockets, looking at everything and not even participating, Dean.
So he's clothed.
And he's just looking and he's not participating. Like, they'd run him off pretty quick, Dean. That's called a lurker / peeper. Don't be that guy, Dean. Just
wait a minute. So we had a big meeting last week and we established the line, right? We were right at the line.
Chop
Are we still right at the line, or did we just go over?
Oh, this is just an example. Like, I'm not saying anything.
If we were in a DeLorean, we're right around 88 miles per hour. It's close. It's very, very close to the point of no return. I'm not really certain, but I don't know. Of all events, Chop, that's the one the first one that pops in your head. It's Friday night. It must be a good time in the Chop household. Enjoy your weekend, not just your cereal, not just whatever you got there at Costco. Your 300 lineups are running out there tonight. It's gonna be a good one for Chop. He's going to catch Barbie later on, maybe a little Oppenheimer as well. So I'm jealous.
Sounds like you know why this weekend's so great?
Why is that?
Well, unfortunately, I have a vet appointment in the morning, but we get to wake up and we get UFC right off the bat tomorrow. So everybody check out the Blender and Mike, the Buddha show that they do, the content they're putting out for UFC. It's good stuff.
They in Australia? Where are they at? Somewhere in Europe?
London.
London. There you go. Yeah, Australia, I guess they're probably staying away. Australia's the World Cup. Australia and New Zealand. There you go. Get the fever. Get excited about the World Cup. And again, I mentioned before, it's the debut tonight for oh God, I'm losing his name now for some reason. I was going to say Messi, and it's definitely not Messi. The other great footballer that I can't think of his name, and I'm drawing a complete blank for the local Miami Football Club. But we shall move on. Hey, is there anything else we should mention as far as pitchers? I want to see if people are throwing some names out there in chat. Mr. Richard wants to know here. This is a good question for you, Kirkwood, on Yahoo specifically. SB1, you got Shohei Ohtani or Framber Valdez?
You want me to shake it up a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Joe Ryan. And he's cheaper.
Is that a price thing? I don't know Yahoo's prices.
I just like him better tonight, but I'm probably going to be Framber Joe, but I'm between all three of them at the moment. But that's where everyone's going tonight.
All right. Now
I think the chalk will be Framber Shohei will be the chalk, I think.
Oh, it is messy, by the way. What's wrong with me? I'm all over the place. You know what? I don't know why I'm trying to force soccer into the conversation. Love the soccer, love the football, but let's talk about baseball. Let's talk about the Mlb Dfs slate. Bobby Gomes just says Cutter Crawford for no particular reason. What's the context of that? I don't know. Should we mention his existence?
Should we play him tonight?
Is he better than all those other cheap guys you kind of ran down?
He's in the mix. I put him in the mix. He's right above.
But where is he at in the mix? Is he back in cleanup or is he leading off?
He's coming off of a great start himself. He went. He had 9 Ks in his last start, a 39% called strike whiff against the Cubbies. So things are looking up for him. It's not a great strikeout matchup against the Mets, but
it's a good gutless matchup.
It's also they are top 3 on the gutless, the soon to be released gutless loser rankings that I'm putting out. Team rankings.
I did a little deep dive today into the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso. Like since coming back with his wrist, he was supposed to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. He came back in 10 days. He pushed pretty hard to come back, but since coming back, he's been pretty horrendous. Down across the board, all the advanced stats as well, like barrel percent and exit velocity and any stat you can think of. It's just a month, but maybe he came back too early, and he's just kind of playing through something.
Who's this?
Just Pete Alonso.
Micro meet Pete.
Well, I mean maybe that's what he's turned into in the last month or so. I'm not really sure, and you never really know. You can draw your own conclusion. It can be small sample stuff, but he's not been good as a general thought. Do you have a separator there, chopping? And you're running 150. You have all the lineup combinations you can't lose. So I mean, Crawford's probably in your pool. But if you had to take a take, if you had to say, like, listen, I'm only making 5 lineups tonight, and you're looking for one of the cheap starting pitchers amongst Crawford, we could talk about Kikuchi and Lynn, depending on how cheap we're talking about. That's kind of more of a mid-tier deal. I know Oviedo was thrown out earlier. Marsh was thrown out earlier. I don't think anybody's going to be playing Marsh. I think he's pretty interesting. You guys talked me into that. Big K rate so far in the, in the association, but, and this Yankee team is pretty terrible. They're also not patient. And that's been his one bugaboo so far. Well, he's homers. I think he's given up 3 homers per 9. But again, that's just 15 innings. Chop, you have a clear favorite amongst the cheap starting pitchers tonight?
Clear-cut favorite? No. I think Schmidt is fine. It's because it's matchup based. I think JP Sears is fine because he's more talented than like a Schmidt or a Marsh. But the matchup can be tough sometimes with Houston. Sometimes they're dog water, as we would say in West Texas.
In San Antonio, yeah.
West, no, that's south. It's more south
Boston, Massachusetts.
Yeah. I think Marsh is a great price point. Marsh is a great price point against a bad team. Cutter Crawford, really talented. The Mets can be trash sometimes. So I don't really, none of them like stand out. Nobody stands out, but I think they're all very, very playable.
By the way, the Discord channel, I told Andy Means, I'm going to take care of this for him. You asked, you jumped in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord. The MLB channel, again, you don't have to be a premium member to join there. Anybody, you can just hang out. We were talking earlier in the day, and Andy Means had a question for you, Chop. And I said, you know what? I'm going to write this one down. I'm going to ask you. You have plenty of time to think about it. Andy Means wants to know, what was your go-to pickup line or move back in the glory days of your single life?
Can I guess it first?
Oh, yeah, sure. I guess so. Sure.
Want a massage?
Well, that would be your go-to, Chop?
I feel like Chop.
Confirm or deny?
No. That was not on the top of my list. No.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to address Butthole Jenkins.
Sure.
always
got to express it.
He says, add another name to Dean's list. Voyeur. Dean's a voyeur. That's very true. Okay. Dean's a lurker, a voyeur. One of those.
This is getting redundant, though. It's all basically the same thing.
No, but that's a good word too. I would say, Dean, I think it's pretty a no. It's a no-brainer for me. The answer to this, like my move. Make sure nobody's listening, Dean. My go-to move when I was in my prime, Dean. When I was in my prime, single guy, like all the good stuff going on. My go-to move, Dean. I go to the bar. First off. Right. Even if you're there with friends, you gotta get away from those friends. Like you don't want to be a group. You can't be with a group of guys. That's terrible look, right? You don't want to be with a group. But you also, if you do go with friends, your friends have to have good standards, right? You have to have standards. Your friends have to have. But anyway, you want to get away from
one guy though. There's always that one guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be there with those goofballs. Anyway.
Yeah.
So you separate from them, so you're not intimidating any ladies.
Oh, is this a bar or a gentleman's bar?
I go to a bar, go to the bar, and I buy several shots, right? Then I find the ladies that look like, maybe they're trying to, they kind of made eye contact, but they're trying not to show they made eye contact, that kind of thing. You feel like you get a pretty good read on them. You go up to that group of girls with the shot. I go, man, I bought all these shots. I can't find my friends. You guys want to take them with me, and that's the icebreaker, Dean. If you can't break the ice with that one, and you can't finagle your way into the door, you ain't got the game. You got to move on.
That's an expensive though. That's an expensive dart to throw. Like I don't know how much of a baller you were.
I don't.
Throwing his money around.
Team, like
if you miss,
what kind of women you think you're going to get with $5 in your pocket, Dean? You're saying a lot about yourself right now.
I'm just saying that is you're pot committed to that. And you say how many shots we're talking about? And also,
we're not.
Probably want to see the shots.
What kind of shot would you?
Yeah. What's your go-to shot?
Well, that's the thing. You're looking for something in the cheapish range. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's certainly not no Patron or anything. Like it's cheapish range, and just whatever's good then, and whatever you're feeling. But hey,
I mean, I wouldn't trust a random shot from a random stranger. I want to see it poured, but it's got to be certified by the bar.
Are you insinuating that Chop was like slipping things in people's?
I'm just saying, like you play things safe. You never. I don't want it from anybody. I don't want a random shot. Like if I trust you, sure.
Yeah, Dean, it would
like roofies, like roofies or something.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, Dean, with if a girl's digging you. They're not worried about that kind of stuff.
What was your batting average with this? Like what are we hitting?
It's not about average. It's about it's like sales. It's like a 10-3-1 type of thing. You just got to have
it was effective more times than not, Dean. It was effective more times than not.
All right. You're the Ronald Acuna of buying shots, is what you're suggesting?
Dean, Dean, you have to it's not just random, right? It's not just random. You have to have noticed the glancing look beforehand, as you walk around when you're first surveying the club or bar, where you have to have noticed, that you got to catch, you got to be perceptive, Dean. That's the thing.
Fair enough. We should give the summary. I had to ask that question on Andy's behalf. Andy was curious, but is that how you looked around before you answered the question? Is that how, you're a happily married man now? Is that how we started our relationship with the wife?
No. Those were the club days, Dean. Those were bar and club days, Dean. That's not. No.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. All right. We shall move on. Let's get a summary as far as pitchers. You want to give me the summary, Kirkwood? Somebody has tuned in right now. They're jumping in late. They want to hear what crunch time has to say. They want to hear the last half of our conversation. Summarize the arms, Kirkwood. It's tough because there's a lot of good ones, and there's 3 really good ones up top. There's good stuff in the mid tier, and there's some good cheapies as well. And like you said earlier, you might say it again. You're talking about maybe making your lineups first as far as your offense, and then just kind of figuring out what pitchers work for you. But give me the summary. What are we prioritizing as far as arms tonight?
All right, you've got 3 top-end arms all in pretty much the same matchup, all good matchups. Shohei against Pitt, Framber against Oakland, Joe Ryan against the White Sox. I like them all. I like all 3. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of leaning Joe Ryan tonight, but that's just because I think he's going to be the third owned of the 3, and I like his matchup just as much as the others, and I like his K stuff. He's the highest swinging strike rate of the 3. There, you can go down to like Kikuchi or Lin. Actually, Lin is probably going to be more popular than Kikuchi would be a pivot off of that, both in the top 2 strikeout matchups. So that's mid-range, 7.6, 7.7. Then you can go down cheaper and play Schmidt, who gets the matchup against the Royals for 6.2K. And then we've got a few pitchers that if you really want to go down, which I think are completely viable on this slate. I think the Marshman against the Yankees. You're
really trying to make that happen. You're trying to make Marshman a thing. It's not a thing.
No, of course it's I'm just reading what do you think people call him?
Which people?
The home crowd in Kansas City. That's what they all call him, the Marshman.
The 8 people that show up say go Marshman.
Oh, now you're dumping on Kansas City. Jeez. Anyways, Cutter Crawford against the Mets. Not a great strikeout matchup, but he's coming off of an electric start in his last one. And I'm kind of high in him longer term. I think he's going to put it all together. And then, or you could even go Oviedo. Then there's like ones that I've totally just like missed, right? Like let's just. That's the summary for me, my pool. But like you can play Bryce Miller. You can play Senga against the Red Sox. Senga, like Chop said it too. It's like when he's on, if his sweeper and he's just on, it's lights out for all these guys. It doesn't matter what team it is. So and if he's not, he's not. But so he's in play especially from an ownership. He's not going to get much. JP Sears is like I totally overlooked at 6,700, and I think that's it. I think I've named it. Oh, and then Gavin Williams is even in play, I think, at 7K. But like, how many did I name? Like 12 pitchers, 13 pitchers?
Yeah. It's pretty tricky. There's a lot of options for sure. I want to see, did we get a Houston lineup just yet? I know it's a West Coast game, so probably not. Twins. Oh, Castro was scratched for the Twins. That's interesting. Who did they add in there? Let's see. We got Correa leading off, Julien, Kirilov, Kepler, Wallner, Buxton. I think Solano's the new guy. Gallo and Jeffers. If you're going to bat Joey Gallo 8th versus Lance Lynn, like don't even have him on your team. Like what's the point?
What is up with that, Dean? What's up with that?
I don't understand. If he's going to be in your team, this is like the one spot where you would absolutely take advantage of what his skill set is versus an opponent that has the same vulnerability to your strength. Like why would you bat him 8th? That doesn't make any sense. Buxton seems to drop like one spot every single game. I don't know if you've noticed that. He's gone like from 1 to 4 to 5 to 6.
All right. He is gutless.
What's wrong with Buxton this year? What happened to Buxton, man?
He's gutless.
He's not hurt this year. Like,
yes, the manager said, and I was watching this, that he said basically he's not healthy enough to play center field. He could not actively play center field. He can't move. So like when he hits 450-foot bombs, who cares, right? And he's got a long history of injuries, so there's a reason why he's DHing all the time when he plays. So whatever he's playing through something. I think he's not 100%.
Matt Wallner, 2K lefty.
He's got 70 power on the.
They really rolled out the lefties.
Julian's pretty good, Dean.
He's hot. He's on fire. Yeah. So is Kirilov.
Edard Scissorhands. That's what they call him in Minnesota.
I don't believe
I
so.
know. No, I know.
How old
they
those
do.
people are calling? 48-year-olds are calling them that. Do they have a more updated reference than Edward Scissorhands?
Let me check if that's on Wikipedia. Let me check.
The thing with Julian, he's been, like you said, he's been scorching. He's been on fire, and they're still pinch hitting for him. They also take him out for defensive purposes. Now, he's going to get 3 at-bats versus Lynn because Lynn pitches a long time. But I wouldn't be certain he gets a 4th at-bat. But he's been great, and he's a bit of a prospect as well. But they don't like him left on left, and they don't like him defensively. I don't know if they're hindered a little bit with Castro being scratched. I don't know how serious that is, if he can come in later or not. But potential pinch hits lurking later for Minnesota. But they're so cheap that I don't think I'm terribly concerned about it. Chop, you want to add as far as pitchers? I know Kirkwood said a lot. Did want to mention on Fanduel, just kind of an interesting talking point, is the difference between Ohtani and Valdez. I know you said you like Valdez. That's your boy. Of course you do. And quality start machine, and he's going to drop a quality start most likely versus Oakland. That is useful on Fanduel, but he's 11-2. And Joe Ryan's 10K, and Ohtani's 10-2. Distinctly different as far as the asking price, and that's going to make Valdez less popular than Ohtani. Does that make you want to grab more Valdez and just get a couple cheaper bats? How are you handling the Fanduel specifically, or anything different when it comes to Fanduel versus DK?
You talking to me?
Yes, Chop.
I mean, the difference between Fanduel and DK is pretty night and day when it comes to pitchers, and you can't get too far away, like as much as so my rundown, obviously the big 3, Valdez, Shohei, Joe Ryan, great. Splitting hairs trying to decide which one is like the superior option. Okay, they're all really good. And then on DK, sure, Lynn, Schmidt, Sears, Marsh. There's a few other, Cutter Crawford. There's a couple other guys cheaper that I will absolutely play. I'll have plenty of. On Fanduel, man, I am much less likely to play any, large amount of any of those guys. I can stick to Framber, Shohei, Joe Ryan quite a bit on Fanduel because the salary cap is easier most nights. You only have one pitcher to pick from. You can't have an SP2, so you gotta put your best foot forward at the pitcher spot. So usually it's the big stars, and then just if I have if I want to stack Braves over there, yeah, I'm gonna have to turn to some of the cheaper option, but it's only in certain lineups for the most part. That's the big difference. I'm sticking to the studs, pitchers over there.
Did want to mention, by the way, we're about 14 likes away from TJ. TJ's not in the show, of course, but he's hanging out in chat. He's going to drop his Spidey Bomb at 100 likes. So kindly hit that like button. And then Chop is going to retort. He's going to counter with his Triple G plays as well. Also, somebody made this reference made me laugh. Where did it go? I'm just lost it now in chat. Well, let me just ask this question. Alan wants to know, this is for you, Kirkwood. DK, single entry, SP2. Kikuchi or Lynn? Who do you prefer amongst those two?
I prefer Lynn, but the ownership Kikuchi's ownership is going to be way lower. So if you have an extremely chalky lineup, maybe you want to play Kikuchi in that spot. I think they're both good plays. You could double them up, play them together. But if I had to choose one, I would just take Lynn for the K upside. They both have good K upside though in this spot.
P.O. Degen Stoner, not surprisingly, is asking if he missed the Blunt Man and Chronic Dong. That's a little Jay and Silent Bob reference for the people. We don't have that. We have a bunch of gimmicks. That's not a thing apparently just yet, but maybe we'll give that one out at some point throughout the show. TJ will be jumping on in the chat in a second, I'm sure. Going to talk stacks until we hand it off to the Crunch Time crew and also whatever's on chat's mind. Feel free to ask your questions, 2v2s. Give us the information. Let us know if it's Fanduel, if it's DraftKings, if it's a cash game, if it's tournaments, single entry, large field lottery, that kind of deal. Do want to talk stacks in just a second, but I do want to mention Stat Hero. Do want to thank Stat Hero for sponsoring this portion here. If you're not aware, you should be aware. Stat Hero, unique fantasy sports platform. You're aware of it. You love it. You compete against the house. You don't compete against Chop or myself or those people hanging out in chat. The Searing 20 contest for MLB Pick'em that is still going on. Join the free-to-play contest and win to start your streak. Keep your streak alive by playing each day. Build your streak. Win prizes with consecutive wins, including swag. RG Premium, and the cash prize, $20,000 first prize for the Searing 20. Promo code for Stat Hero Grinders, GRINDERS, 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Again, that promo code is Grinders, GRINDERS for Stat Hero. Get into the action today. My computer always thinks whenever I say, what is the word that always sets it off? But now it's just like writing every single word I say. Something in that read that sounds like Siri, but it's not Siri. And now I just started it off again. Good job, Dean. Kirkwood, stacks. Let's see. Myself, yourself, STO Cards will be on it a bit. Dave Potts, two-time millionaire winner. Cheese is good. We did our consensus value rankings as far as stacks. Number one on the board. Actually, number one in 1A because Cincinnati and Arizona are tied. They're 1-2. Cincinnati, Arizona, they're tied. They're facing each other. They're in a great ballpark. 10.5 is the total. Wait, no, are they facing each other? Is San Fran? Am I getting confused now?
It's Arizona, Cincy.
That's right. Okay, they just face each other, and that's all right. And then San Fran is number 3. Atlanta, because always Atlanta's number 4. Yankees, a little bit of Yankee love, which is kind of surprising. I wasn't on that. I've got
to interrupt you for a second and give the people what they want, which is a nice reach around. So I'm going to give a nice reach around here. Okay. Arizona is the top reach around of the night here. Alec Thomas and even Gabriel Moreno for your catcher. One or both of those, and then just come up the top with Perdomo, Marte, and Corbin Carroll. I like this whole lineup. I love this spot. I like both the Diamondbacks and the Reds, but give me the Diamondbacks on the road where they get the 9th at bats if things are going well. They get all 9 at bats. They're willing to run for their money. Cincinnati bullpen has been the top 3rd worst Sierra over the last 30 days. They're actually the top 3rd worst Sierra in baseball, period. The Arizona I just think has massive upside in this spot.
Boom.
So there's a little reach around. There's a little reach around for the boys.
How he did that, Dean? He's not lurking, peeping, or being a voyeur. He's getting in, jumping right in, participating, giving out reach.
Getting my hands dirty, some would say.
Yes.
He didn't even buy me a shot first. I would think give me a shot.
Meanwhile, Dean's just voyeur over there, man. Peeping Tom, peeping Dean.
So Chop, your thoughts? Cincinnati 1, Arizona 2. Actually, again, they're 1 and 1A. They're just they're listed, but they're exactly the same as far as the ranking. Cincinnati and Arizona. Then San Fran, Atlanta, the Yankees. Again, myself and Kirkwood did not rank them, but 2 others did. Then the Dodgers, the Mets, the gutless Mets, some would say. They were certainly gutless yesterday. And then Minnesota. I was the only person that ranked Minnesota. That's more so like Price. Price really put me on them. And, all those lefty power bats. I use power bats loosely, but you know what I mean. Lefty bats there against Lance Lynn. I think somebody's going to homer against them. I'm going to be shuffling them in my lineup, see who fits. But any umbrage here, Chop? Do we like this board? Cincinnati, Arizona, San Fran, Atlanta, Yankees, Dodgers, Mets, Minnesota. Who are we missing? Who do we want to kick off? Who do we want to move out?
Yeah, it's a pretty standard board for tonight. I didn't do the rankings today, but I would go Cincy, San Fran, Arizona, somewhere in there, not in that particular order, and not one through 3. The Dodgers are good. The Dodgers have a little built-in value tonight, Dean, because they're facing a guy that they had pitched for them last year. So if anybody knows how to beat Haney, the Dodgers should have a pretty good read on him. So I don't mind the Dodgers. Is that something
we can quantify? Is that a real thing? Or you're just kind of making that up? You never really know.
Will Smith home run tonight.
There you go.
I like him too. I like him more on Fanduel where he's 3.5. It's much more palatable than 5.6. But
in fact, Dean, I would say that speaking of the Dodgers, just missing the cutoff for BVP Play of the Day, was Mookie Betts, but he's a phenomenal hitter because he's
okay.
But the one team, Dean, I don't think you mentioned them. I don't think they're in anybody's top 5, and I'm going to vault them to number 1 on my list just based on the fact that I'm playing GPPs. And I need some under-owned hitters, man, to just have. If you can get under-owned stack/hitters that just smash, obviously in baseball, like that's the key, man. Texas, I think I see one guy in their entire lineup right now that has more than 5% ownership, and that's Corey Seager, and that's only like 7% ownership projected.
Everybody up.
Yeah. exactly. A little revenge spot for him. But the point is, like everybody else, for Seager's only 7. Everybody else is like 4% or less projected ownership. Then that's not like. So, like, here you go. This is a top 2 or 3 offense in all of baseball against a very marginal, like, who's Gonsolin? He stinks, Dean. He's got his expected ERA is.
But he's a magician, man. He's always super lucky.
His xFIP is over 5. None of the numbers are surrounding him are particularly good. Jared Barton, huge Texas homer. I can't stand the Rangers. Like, he's Barton. Where's Barton? What rock is he living under? I'm an Astros guy. I'm not a Rangers guy anyway. So
you got the entire state, man.
Great lineup, bad pitcher, 0 ownership on these guys. Almost like, God, sign me up for Texas in a GPP. Could they get shut out tonight, Dean? Yeah. Gonsolin could pitch 4 good innings. They turn to the bullpen and then one by one get the good bullpen pieces and you get shut down. I've seen it. That's fine.
Not a good pen this year, by the way, for what it's worth for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in a vacuum before this slate starts, I like Texas because of the ownership mainly, and it's a powerful line. They're not gutless in the lineup, from what we know right now. So that's where I'm at with my stags. The Texas, I like the Cincy, Frisco, Arizona call, and I like the Dodgers also.
By the way, Gonsolin this year, like 3.72 ERA, which is perfectly acceptable. But like you said, the Sierra's almost at 5. Part of that is the BABIP. BABIP is at 213. That's super, super lucky. The batting average on balls in play there. But he was like that last year too, where he pitched way above his head. And like, I don't know if that's a skill or not. Some guys just seem to find a way. But I agree. Like, regression monsters should be coming for Gonsolin at some point. Corn Dog Fritters wants to know your NFL team. It's the Cowboys, right, John?
Cowboys, correct, Dean. Every other team is like the Houston area. You know, Houston Astros, Houston Rockets, Houston Cougars. But I remember being a kid, you know, my dad would just run around and do all this crazy shit for the Oilers. He loved it, and I didn't like it. So I
love the Oilers as a kid too.
I gravitated to the Cowboys because I didn't like all that garbage going on. So I gravitated to the Cowboys.
Yeah, that was my favorite team as a child until they moved away.
Warren Moon guy?
I love Warren Moon. The run and shoot, Haywood Jeffries, and
little Ernest Givens,
Curtis Duncan, little Lonzo Highsmith, some Ray Childress, some Bubba McDowell. That's right. I just went Bubba McDowell on you. All right. To the chat, we still have 10 minutes until we yield. We should be getting maybe TJ's too busy hand building his lineups because he's not dropped his Spidey bomb. We are well over 100 likes, but keep hitting that like button. The more you hit it, the more he'll drop. Do you want to like attack first, Chop? And, you know, attack, normally he drops the Spidey bomb and you counter with the triple G, but maybe attack him with your triple G out of nowhere. That's what a villain would do, I think. I've seen Spider-Man.
No, Dean, I'm not a villain. Oh. I don't need to attack.
The Green Goblin's a bad guy. I mean,
there is no Green Goblin if there's no Spider-Man. So I need to see Spider-Man's presence first before we come. But I will give you the BVP suggestion of the day, Dean.
You teased it earlier.
Betts was good, but the BVP suggestion is Teoscar Hernandez. Now, he's one of you said it earlier, Dean. You could either play this pitcher or you could stack against him equally. And I like a little I didn't even know it was his revenge game too. Oh yeah, I like some Teoscar tonight. Oh yeah. Firing.
I like those Mariners and I like those Twins that got to make stuff work, make everything else work for you. I think that's going to be. I don't know how deep I'm going to get it in the Mariners or the Twins, but I'm certainly going to have them as one-offs or like little mini stacks. By the way, we have a heightened risk of the game in Boston. Roth did update his weather, and it's orange-yellow now. It's flipped. It was yellow-orange now earlier. Now it's orange-yellow. Now it's serious. So we got to see what Roth has to say in about 10 minutes or so, but he's raised the risk there. I know we got boots on the ground there at Kirkwood, and, you know, you guys are considering, at least in the pool, you got Cutter Crawford as an option.
What am I supposed to be doing? Boots on the ground.
I don't know. You got a guy? You can look out the window. How far away are you from Fenway?
Not that far. Yeah,
there you go. Take a little stroll around the block. I don't know. I guess you're doing the show.
There's a lot more to weather than that, Dean. I'm surprised that you don't even know.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not making my own dew point model. Like we all have our own specialty, and that's not mine. I just yield to see what Roth has to say. You know. Do you have a triple? No. Do you have a A Juggalo bomb for the people, Kirkwood?
Juggalo bomb. Yeah, I'll whip one up. Well, I'm just gonna. Matt Olson is gonna take Peralta deep, and these Braves. You want to play? I don't. Peralta doesn't scare me the least bit with these Braves bats, so especially some lefty ones. So I think Matt Olson is like my favorite play because he's so expensive tonight. I just don't think he's going to be played much.
We got your neighbor Bobby Gomes hanging out in chat. He's helping out. Little boots in the ground. He said it's getting dark gray clouds for what it's worth. So, yeah, we'll see what Roth has to say. He's jumping on in about 10 minutes or so, and of course, he'll update that as we close in on lock. Anything else on your mind? By all means, fire it off, chat. Hey, Chop, is there a team or a player or a pitcher or something specific that, you have a pile of lineups, and then we kind of joke about you can get every possible combination, but is there something you're just not getting enough of that you're most afraid of? I know it's that question we ask in the expert survey. Who is the player or the team that you're most afraid it's going to burn you tonight? If for one reason or another, you just don't have enough of them.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's going to be Atlanta because I won't have enough of them because I like some of these other offenses more. And they are very capable on any slate, just like yesterday, unbelievable. They smash another good pitcher, and I didn't have enough.
Well, they didn't smash. They smashed the bullpen. Like,
what? They eventually get there, man.
Lineup with, I had like the most beautiful lineup yesterday with the Mets and Brave stack. I had Lorenzen and Kirby.
I think I had the same lineup as you. That's so funny.
Maybe. But
I'm gonna pull it up. I think I had something.
I only had two Braves. I just had Acuna and Albies, and then I had Wilmer, why he's not in the lineup today, I have no idea. The guy's done nothing but hit bombs game after game. And then I had a Mets, like all the big Mets bats, and they're just gutless as can be. My pitchers, I sneaked in the bubble to catch.
Me too.
But well,
Kirkwood, I had Kirby Lorenzen with Olsen and Riley and Acuna. So and then 5 Mets and the 5 gutless Mets. We had the same team, basically.
No, we didn't. I didn't have Olsen.
Oh, well, you should have had Olsen. He homers every single game.
I had Wilmer.
Well, we live more of a salary cap, I suppose. Let's see some questions. Well, J3 is saying Kirkwood low-key having a great show despite the brownie brittle. You've recovered from the ASMR to start the show.
What was wrong? I gave some great I gave a great new snack suggestion to the people. I can't believe that they're.
It's subjective. I'm sure somebody enjoyed it. Let's see. They're asking about the Phillies, the lefty Phillies specifically, Kirkwood. How do we feel with the lefty Phillies? I'll tell you this: they're cheap. We're also getting
gutless. I can just they're gutless. They're gutless. Philly's gutless.
What is that? That's an evergreen. That's not an evergreen thing. That's a
Kyle Schwarber keeps popping as like the home run projection play, but
Kyle Schwarber he's such a fraud.
He's not hitting a homer.
He's one of the best home run hitters in the league.
Here's Kyle Schwarber every year. First of all, stumble around on defense and trip over your own feet on defense.
Care about that.
That's fine. That's fine. Here's Kyle Schwarber every year on offense.
He's batting 188.
Hit 40 home runs in 1 month, and then the other 6 months he does jack shit.
That's what he does. Did I hear batting average?
Of course, because that's what counts at the end of the day. That's what.
No, it's not. It's actually not what counts. There's a 250 hitter out there that's terrible and they're like worthless for our purposes. But Schwarber, when he actually hits it, though, the ball goes over the fence. Homers are worth more than singles. You know this, Kirkwood.
Yeah, Kyle Schwarber's not hitting one today.
All right, that's a bold proclamation. I'll tell you this: he's really cheap, like 4.6 on DK. I feel like we haven't seen him that cheap before. I want to say he's 3.5 on Fanduel. Both really, really good prices. So
I'll take Max Kepler over him for 2,000 of savings.
I like Kepler too. Yeah. Anthony wants to know, Chopper, do you like the White Sox or Angels to put up some runs tonight? White Sox or Angels?
What? Do I need to? You're asking me between those two, or would I actually play either of those two? I mean, The White Sox? He wants to stack the White Sox against Joseph
I'm just
Ryan?
asking. I'm a vessel. I'm asking on
First
behalf
of all, if
I
you're
was
asking,
lurking the chat. And
would I stack the White Sox? No, not tonight. No, I certainly won't stack them. Would I stack the Angels? Yeah, I would. Now got 150 lineups to toy with. Sure, why not? But Dean, this is a good segue into the knockers, man. Because knockers are teammates. They're in the same lineup.
That's right.
Knockers are typically close to. Sometimes you can get some knockers that are spaced a little bit farther
They should
out.
bat like 3-4.
But typically
they're
typically they're closer together in the order.
Saggy? Would you ever say saggy?
You could have yes.
Why would you say that?
I don't know.
It happens, Dean. It happens. Listen, here's what I got for you, Dean. No, I don't know. Let me see. How are these going to be chalky knockers on? Nah, they're all right. Number 2, number 4, Cincy lineup. Sinzel, Steer. Let's go with those guys. They're going to be the knockers. A little bit of space between them, but so they're not bunched up. They're not 2-3 or 3-4, 2-4, spaced out just right. I like the matchup. I like the split stats between the both of those guys. Let's rock it, Dean.
Should we be concerned about TJ? Where did TJ go? Did he lose power? He said he was on the show. He promised us some Spidey bombs. We hit well over 100 likes. And he just took off. He's got those laps. He's got a hand build, and
he got bored. It's Friday.
His wife's away.
He's probably coming in cosplay. Like he's coming in full costume. He's probably like.
No, he's not going to be on any show. He's not coming in the later show. It's going to be
no. That doesn't matter, Dean. That doesn't matter.
In his house, he's cosplaying just for
the wife. The wife is out of town. You said
the wife is away.
The dude's getting dressed up. Maybe go LARPing in Canada. Maybe go LARPing.
So we've set it a bolo on TJ. I just hope he's doing okay. I hope all is well. But it's normally not like him. It just sort of like split. And Spidey is generally reliable as well. But all right, well maybe he'll jump in during crunch time at some point. But he promised the Spidey bombs. Maybe he'll jump in and throw them in later. We don't know.
All right, Chop. Release. Okay, since TJ was supposed to release a Spidey bomb.
Yeah,
I know you needed 2,000 likes for your lock guaranteed homer, but maybe you do that today for the people.
Are we going to get to 15? If we can get to 1,500 likes, I'm in. How about I release? I hate to do this. I'll release the Triple G in hopes that it brings the Spidey bomb out. Yeah. Because it was supposed to be Spidey's supposed to be first, and then Dean. And now this is a homer pick, okay?
Yeah.
Chas McCormick, Triple G played. Let me. Okay, what are we on about? Can I get a? Do you think that's chalky, Dean?
I think it's like are you playing lowball?
Whoa, okay, Dean. That's a good segue, Dean. I got some numbers for you. Within the last calendar year, he's top 35 weighted on base, top 35 isolated power, top 20 WRC plus. He has 18 homers, 13 steals in the last calendar year.
Okay.
Top 25 OPS on base plus slugging amongst all qualified batters in all of Major League Baseball. Like they sent about a year ago, they designated him to go down to make room for Michael Brantley. Brantley never was healthy, so he never actually went down. He stayed with the club, and ever since that day, these are the numbers he's put up: 367, 199, 139 WRC plus, 843 OPS. He's actually been very good for about a season now. So, and he was just named the player of the week in the American League because he's been hot, Dean. So,
by the way,
you may
drop for Houston.
You lurk all you want, brother.
Dubon leading off, Pena, Tucker, Bregman, Abreu, McCormick, your boy McCormick, Jolks, Hensley, and Maldonado is that's your starting catcher tonight for Houston. What else is going on in chat? We should be getting STO cards. We should be getting DerekCarty, CEO of the Bat, and Kevin Roth jumping in momentarily. In the chat saying I was being disrespectful. No, just STO cards is misremembering that conversation. No, I don't want to get into it, but now cards.
I remember it, Dean. I think that's true. I think
I was on the side. No, I was arguing against Justin Bohr. Somebody was saying I don't want to get into.
You can't say that person. By the way, you legally can't say the person that was arguing this on the air on this show. Okay, just want to make that very clear.
And that's why I'm being vague. But somebody was saying that Justin Bour was like a top 30 or top 40 hitter in the league, and I was saying, LOL, that's not true. And like maybe he's a top 30 hitter in Japan now. Where is he at? Where is Justin Bour? Is he still hitting baseballs professionally somewhere? But I was on the other side.
Probably on an island somewhere chilling.
Cards, you are misremembering that conversation. That you got me all. Now I know how you feel when the Cardinals keep losing. They lost again today, a 1-run game, and you've got me in full tilt.
And that was crap. I'm pissed. That game.
That was not.
Let's go.
That game was crap.
Why was it crap? Give me the summary. I didn't watch it.
I'm sure nobody saw this. I'm probably the only one that saw this. All right, I got to share my screen, Steve. I promise I'll only be upset for 20 seconds.
I got you.
All right,
producer Steve bet the Cubs. Just so you know, keep that in mind as you bet.
So
I won. I'm sorry.
This was with the bases loaded.
Wow, look at those
in the top of the 8th in a 1-run game. The bases loaded and 1 out. What are we doing without automated ball strike calls? Number 4 was reasonably okay. Number 5 was horrendous. And number 6 was I've got to swing because he called the last 2 a strike, and it was a double play to end the inning. So instead of a tie game, with still the bases loaded, they are out of the inning because Ron Colpo's an idiot.
I love how you still on that page. Like that was still up. You didn't really call it up. It was still in one of your tabs.
Oh, it was on a tab. Yeah, because it it's just gonna remind me all night. So that's probably why I misremembered the Justin Bour conversation. I've been too distracted. So I apologize if you were on the other side of that. So
yeah,
I was trying to defend Chop for a second. Since you were giving him crap about
Dean was also big on the Chris Bryant.
No, that wasn't me. I was not in that conversation. Now you're just trying to stir things up. I was indifferent on Chris Bryant. Carty, you have to have a hot take as far as robo-umps, right? I feel like it's as a man who's got some conviction. Carty, are we passionate about robo-umps? Are you somewhere in the middle? Are you indifferent or what?
I mean, just from a purely selfish perspective, I don't want robo-umps because umpires are part of how we get an edge in DFS and betting. I don't want them to go away.
That's fine, but you at least gotta I'm fine if they let the umps do that, but you at least gotta give some sort of challenge system for like 2 or 3 calls a game. I mean,
I'm cool with that.
That's how they've rolled it out in the minors, and
like tennis, exactly like tennis. It should be.
So many challenges per set. So you get a 1 challenge an inning or whatever they end up.
They use it at an important moment, and it works.
Hey,
it would be a fun sweat too. Like if the scoreboard, like in center field, it's a countdown, to 5, and it turns green or red. Like how amazing would that be for the audience? Like you get a huge roar or a huge boo. Like you said, that thing in tennis,
they put that on the big screen.
It'd be incredible.
Jumbotron, and then the crowd goes, and then it'd be
awesome for crowd reactions. Yeah. Because then all of a sudden you have this new life that you didn't think you had, and you have maybe 5 a game or something like you don't review everything necessarily, but there you go. That's an idea for the people. Roth should be coming in momentarily. I'm told, Cards, you're going to be able to hold it down until Roth comes in. Can myself and Chop and Kirkwood please step aside and get out of here and make way for the Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you guys dipping out. We can handle it. We're my mind is back on straight. I got the venting out, so yeah, we're good to go.
You got anything else for the people here, Chop, before you step aside and get out of here?
No, I just want to say props to STL Cards for still sweating even when his team is complete dog water in late July.
Oh man! So
I mean, that's amazing, brother. Good props to you, man.
I had completely given up on the season, and they had to go and win 6 in a row, and suck me back in for a few games. So nice reality check today.
Once they pull you out, all right. You got anything else, Kirkwood? We're out of here.
Nada.
All right, that was Chop. That was Kirkwood. I was Dean. The Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time. You got Roth coming in momentarily. You have DerekCarty. STL Cards, take it away.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Feels a little strange to not have Roth doing the intro and the weather to start the show, but for now, it's STL Cards, Justin Van Zuiden, and DerekCarty with you on this big Friday night baseball slate. And there is Roth, just in time.
Just made it. We just slid right under the tag there. Can you guys hear me? Everything good?
Sounds good. And now you can just do your intro like normal because it was not normal with me doing it.
Good job. Yeah, my computer was all buggy. I was like, I'll just restart it. So then you go to restart it, and then as it boots back up, it's like you gotta download 82 different updates. I was like, of course, that's how it goes.
Been there many
hey,
times.
Glad I was able to make it. Thank you for stepping up. Now I know maybe I can skip the first few minutes. I got cards ready to roll. Welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed Crunch Time. It is sponsored by Fanduel. We got DerekCarty, inventor, creator, and CEO of the Bat on hand. What up, Carty?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I'm hanging in there. We'll talk about this Boston issue in a wee bit here. And we got STL cards.
Roth, is this true that you hadn't restarted your computer in over a week?
Over a week? I haven't restarted my computer since I bought the damn thing.
What are you doing?
I don't do tech. I don't know how
Turn it off at night.
It just
Carty's, yeah.
I have
once a week. Just once a week, give your computer a restart.
I've got to admit that I am Team Roth on this one. I always just put it into rest mode and then it boots right back up. And then also, like Roth, when I have a problem and a software won't load or something and I have to restart, the 85 updates are not on my own time. But we must admit, Roth, it's our own fault.
Right. Clearly, it was not the right move. It just like, here's the thing, Carty. When I'm done with the computer, I close it.
Yep.
I just close. If it wants to turn itself off, it should be smart enough to do
that.
It
will take you literally 3 seconds to go to the bottom, click the button, and then click shut down.
But then it takes like 4 minutes longer to boot up the next day when you want to use it.
Here's where I'm at. I'm so bad that as I tried to like restart it, I searched like, how do I restart? I couldn't figure out. I had to just push and hold the button until it just clicked off.
Right now,
I couldn't even figure out how to restart the damn computer. A tech is not my strong
suit. You realize the computer's going to run slower when you do that. It boots up, takes 4 minutes. Because it's so slow, because you have it on all. How old is your computer, by the way? No computer should take 4 minutes to boot up unless it's like 10 years old.
No. It's new. It's just that it was downloading all the bullshit.
I was talking to Cards. He said his takes 4 minutes.
Okay, I 2 minutes. I don't know. It feels like longer because we realize, or at least I realize, I'm on the wrong side of this argument. But we'll blame laziness, whatever we want to.
So, anywho, apologies on my tardiness. Tech is not my strong suit. We're here to give you guys some content. Thankfully, baseball is our strong suit here among the three of us, or at least weather for me. We got cards as well. Cards, thank you for having my back. I appreciate it. Let's dive into this. I know that we've got some weather concerns in Boston. About an hour ago, I was like, I have no idea what they're going to do in Boston. I have a stronger lean now, and I think they're going to start on time. I think they're going to have a delay. I don't exactly know when. And then I think they're probably going to finish up beyond that, but I can't promise it. That's the best I can do for what happens in Boston. So, Carty, I ask you, is this a spot where we desperately want anything? And does that anything include pitchers?
I got confused. You said this is Boston, right?
Damn it. Yes. It's Boston. It's the only way.
What I would love in Boston is like a mid-inning rain delay. That would be perfect for me. But for DFS purposes, no, I don't have any interest in pitchers here.
Okay. Well, I think there is a decent chance that we do get like a mid-game rain delay in Boston. So I don't love pitchers there. And to be clear, I don't think these storms are just immediate. This isn't going to be first or second inning kind of delay. It might end up being mid to later innings. But I do think there's a decent chance they get a delay. And at that point, I can't promise you they finish the game, though they probably will. So if you wanted to go bats there, go for it. That is basically where I'm at as far as weather goes. That's the only real notable thing. So with that out of the way, let's dive into the rest of it. I will update you guys on what's happening here. If anything changes, of course, in Boston or any other spot. But with that, let's kind of give an overview of the slate. Carty, what do you got for us?
So, I mean, overview is there's not like on the offensive side, there's not like one offense that like you have to have. Like it's pretty spread out, the number of viable offenses today. On the pitching side, we kind of have like a top tier of a couple guys and then a mid tier that's really clustered up. And you're going to be able to find at least a couple guys in that tier low owned that, are going to be good for GPPs.
Okay, we want to dive into it. We'll start with some pitcher talk. By the way, did we mention this show is sponsored by FanDuel? Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're in a legal sports betting state, take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. Kudos to our sponsor, FanDuel. New customers can bet $5. You get $100 in bonus bets coming from FanDuel. Terms and conditions do apply. Let's talk about pitchers, Carty. And if you don't mind starting us off with a FanDuel lean, you only get one pitcher over there, so you can't screw it up.
Well,
You gotta nail it.
I think the FanDuel decision is fairly easy, at least for cash. The top tier of pitchers is basically Shohei Ohtani and Framber Valdez. And so you're just deciding between the two of them. Good news is Ohtani's $1,000 cheaper, and so that pretty much makes your decision easier. He also projects a couple points better. So I think in cash, you just play Ohtani. Framber's great. You can certainly roll him out there, in GPPs if you're doing something, weird on offense, but those two are going to carry most of the ownership. On DraftKings, I think you just pair them in cash and that's it. The kind of like the 1B guy is Joe Ryan, who is against the White Sox. He's kind of expensive. He's kind of good, but not as good as Ohtani or Valdez in terms of either talent or matchup. So he's kind of below them for me. He'll probably be the third most owned guy, I would think, today. And then after that, anyone else, for the most part, is going to be, I think, fairly unpopular. There's kind of 5 guys after that I think I would focus on for GPPs to be different or as just ways to save money. It's Lance Lynn, it's Freddie Peralta, it's Clark Schmidt, it's Andrew Haney, and it's JP Sears. I think of those guys, you'll probably see Lynn and Schmidt pick up the most ownership. So the other 3 are the ones I'd probably have the most interest in because they're all kind of the same. They all save you money. They're all good, but not great. And that's kind of pitching for me today, I think.
Okay, give me a top 2. Who were you pairing? Maybe I missed it while my kids were screaming and running around
Ohtani
upstairs.
and Framber.
Okay, you're double spend up.
Yeah, in cash. I mean, in GPPs, obviously, if you're doing an expensive stack or something, pick one of those 5 cheaper guys I mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Cards, I want your take here. You are a bit of a GPP pro, I would say. So what is your game plan here? Do you like the double spend up? Or are you trying to find some cheapies? Where are you going?
Yeah, I think the double spend up is fine. Personally, I'm not doing that tonight because I like the expensive bats in tournaments. I like the spend up stacks tonight. I do agree that in cash, the Ohtani Framber combo probably makes the most sense. But I don't think it's mandatory. I mean, if you want to go with one of the cheaper guys, I'm totally okay with that. Maybe with one of the spend up guys. But Carty and I are in agreement on who the viable arms are. I think pretty much in lockstep there. I like Ohtani the best. Some people may be slightly concerned about his finger, but I know, at this point, the Angels wouldn't be rolling him out there if they had any concerns this close to the trade deadline about the fingers. So at home against Pittsburgh, good matchup. Pittsburgh's really struggled over the last couple of months after a surprising start to the year. So yeah, it's Ohtani number 1 and Valdez number 2 as far as the top guys go for me. Really like Lance Lynn in GPPs and especially on DraftKings where I think he's 7,600. He's probably my favorite SP2 if you're going away from the double spend option on DK. Schmidt will be a little more popular on FanDuel where he's only 8,000. But going to somebody like Sears, Kikuchi, maybe even Gavin Williams, if it's super risky against Philly, but guys with some talent that are going to be in that 3, 5, 7% ownership range tonight, I think makes a lot of sense. And most of my builds have a cheap SP2 on DraftKings just because I want to get some of the high-end bats in there tonight.
Where did Roth go?
Did he disappear again? He's just gone. And he probably has a kid issue. He's just testing my hosting abilities here throughout the show tonight. We're pretty much in agreement on pitcher. So let's just move on and talk about the bats. And usually we start with stacks, offenses in general. What's it looking like for the bat tonight?
So it's looking like a slate where nothing's going to be overly chalky. So you don't have to do anything too weird to be different. I really like the Diamondbacks and the Reds. I think both sides of that game look really good. I think there's probably 10 or 15 teams today that are viable, but outside of them, it's probably like Boston, Philly, Yankees, Braves. They're super expensive, but you can certainly play them. And then a handful of others.
Yeah, with you on the Reds. I like the Reds and the Diamondbacks tonight as well. What's the ump situation in Cincinnati? We got a good hitters ump there. That would help add to the cause.
Let me take a look real quick. We got, hitters ump Nate Tomlinson in Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah, so that's good. We know the ball can fly there in the summer months. I think both pitchers in that game probably primed to see a little bit of fall off in the second half when you look at their advanced numbers. So Arizona, Cincinnati, I like them quite a bit tonight as well. Obviously, you can always play the Braves. Seen some interesting discussion, especially on DraftKings, regarding the Minnesota lefties, with Lynn being somewhat popular, and all the lefties for Minnesota are very cheap on DraftKings, so that could be a viable path. I like the Giants a good bit as well. I think we've kind of touched on most of the offenses in general. Hello, Steve.
Position by position, there's a few YouTube comments I want to talk before we go position by position. Someone asked, is Marsh off the table? And then someone said, I love Marsh for GPPs. Any thoughts on that?
Carty, go ahead. Any thoughts on the Marsh against the Yankees tonight?
That's not going to be for me. I know he's cheap, but he's also not good. He's in a tough matchup. He projects as the fourth worst pitcher on the slate for the bat, so he's not viable for me.
And then one more pitching related question. Someone said, I like Senga. What do you guys think about that? He's always hit or miss.
I'm pretty anti-Senga. I've talked a lot about him today in Discord on my cover show earlier. He's in a really bad spot, first and foremost. Like, he goes from one of the best pitchers parks in baseball to one of the best hitters parks in baseball. It's a low strikeout Red Sox offense. The bat's just also not a believer in Senga. It hasn't been since the start of the year, and it's kind of been wrong so far. Like, his strikeout rate is really high, but he's walking a lot of guys, and I don't believe that strikeout rate is for real. Like, he was never this extreme in the in Japan rather. And if you look at all of the leading stuff indicators, you look at Stuff Plus, you look at Pitching Bot, you look at PLV, they all think his stuff is average. Average pitchers don't strike out 11.5 guys per 9. I mean, maybe they're all missing something. Maybe the bat's missing something, but I just think regression is coming for Senga. It's not a good matchup anyway.
And I believe Roth also
mentioned the weather,
a mid-game delay in that one too.
That too.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Roth's back, so I'm out of here.
Bye, Steve. Hi, Roth.
Hey guys, right before I bailed, I was like, kids are screaming like more than usual. And then there was like a bloody baby that came to the door. That seems problematic. So everything's good. Just
okay.
Everything's cool. Just, little worse fall than normal, but we're all right. We're back. We're back in the groove here. All is calmed. I don't know where we are though, as in regards to the show.
We're just getting ready to start position by position. So you lead into that and we'll go.
Roth, start us off with catchers.
Okay. Yeah. What do we got? I like this Rutsch dog. I don't know if he's playing, but I like this guy. Who do we got? Carty, you want to lead us in here?
Yeah. So Will Smith, as usual, is going to be the top guy tonight. He's Will Smith. He's the best hitting catcher in baseball. He's got the platoon advantage. But he's expensive. I think you're better off saving some money. Francisco Alvarez is the guy that I like the most. Mets get a huge park upgrade. They're going into Fenway. They're facing, one of the bottom half of pitchers on the slate in Cutter Crawford. And he's always kind of reasonably priced on DK. He's 3.9 today. So he's the guy that I'm playing. But you can obviously play guys as one-offs or in your stacks. Like Real Muto, I mentioned, like in a Philly stack, you should play Real Muto. In those, that kind of thing.
Okay. Cards, your thoughts?
Yeah, same guys at catcher. I do think William Contreras is fine. Patrick Bailey. I do like Washington or San Francisco against Washington a bit tonight. And we always get nervous about San Francisco and all their lefty bats and pinch hit risk. The good news is that Washington only has one lefty in the bullpen, so maybe a little less pinch hit risk for those San Francisco bats tonight than usual. And, they're not going to be as popular, maybe as what the projections would indicate. So Bailey, I think, is fine. Probably a better play on DraftKings. Obviously, on FanDuel, you don't need a catcher. Tom Murphy is hitting 5th for Seattle tonight. Not that he's this ringing endorsement, great play or anything like that, but he's only 2,400 on DraftKings. So if you wanted to punt, you could go there.
Very good. How about first base?
Yeah, this probably isn't a position where you absolutely need to spend top dollar tonight. Like Freeman's lefty on lefty. Matt Olson's facing a good pitcher. Pete Alonso has been horrible since he came back. Vlad is facing a good pitcher. So most of the Votto's lefty on lefty. So most of the high-end first basemen are in tough matchups tonight. Like Christian Walker, I really like Arizona. I think he's great in GPPs. But you could go with like a Nate Lowe, a Spencer Steer. Kirilloff is mega cheap on DraftKings. Rizzo is mega cheap on FanDuel. Jose Abreu is not. I think he might not be in the lineup. I think that Houston lineup just dropped right before we went live. Moustakas is a punt you could use on FanDuel. I'm probably not getting that low tonight because you got Kirilloff, you got Votto, you got pretty good. You got Rizzo, not Votto. Pretty good mid-range plays here at first base tonight.
Okay, Carty, your thoughts at first?
Sorry, I got distracted for a second. Dean posted a poll on Twitter about how often people shut their laptops down. More than half the people say they never do. Like, come on.
my people.
More than half. We are in the majority.
What is wrong with
how
people?
the turntables have turned?
57%, pretty much never.
Oh, I love to see it.
I got to go vote now, too. Let's bump that up. Pretty much never.
I agree with Cards, though. Kirilloff is, oh, my God. We're talking about first base, right?
Yeah.
What is even happening right now? Kirilloff at 2.2 on DraftKings is just silly cheap. So I like him quite a bit. If you're not going all the way down, though, I think you're probably like going up to a guy like Alonso. I mentioned liking Alvarez at catcher. I like Alonso for the same reason at first base. I like Walker a lot in tournaments, either as a one-off or in your Arizona stacks. I like Vlad a lot as a one-off. I like Rizzo a lot, either as a one-off or in those Yankee stacks. That's am I forgetting anybody? I think that's pretty much first base.
Okay. How about second?
Second base. Ketel Marte, Arizona, one of my favorite teams tonight, if not my favorite. One of the best hitters in that lineup. Second base is always terrible. 3.5 on FanDuel is a good price for him. He's the top second baseman on Slate. So I like Marte quite a bit. Not as affordable over on DraftKings. On DraftKings, you're probably better off just like punting with a guy like Oswald Perez leading off for the Yankees, or Dylan Moore, even at the bare minimum against Kikuchi, I think is fine. In GPPs, you're going to have Mookie Betts with the platoon advantage. You can definitely play him. Matt McClain, certainly in your Cincinnati stacks or as a one-off. Gleyber Torres in your Yankee stacks. And there you go.
Okay, that brings us to your thoughts, Cards, at second.
Yeah, not a whole lot else there at second. I think Marte is my favorite also, particularly on FanDuel with his price over there. Probably a position where I'm going to try to get one of the spendier guys, like Betts on FanDuel is fine. Just because I think you've got the salary maybe to spend at second base. If you're looking to go cheap, you got Nick Senzel hitting second for Cincy tonight. He's second base on FanDuel. FanDuel has a ton of guys that are second base plus a bunch of other positions at the moment. Like Dubon, you can play at second. Senzel, you can play at second. Jeff McNeil's hitting third tonight. He can play him. He's fine on either side. So if you're looking to go cheap there, if you're going the double spend route at pitcher, I think that's fine to go cheap there.
Okay, third base.
And part of the reason that it feels okay to do either method at second base is because third base really isn't as strong tonight as it is most nights. Like a lot of the high-end third basemen aren't in as good a spot as we see when there's nights like when Riley and Devers and Ramirez are all in great spots. Well, they're all facing decent enough pitchers tonight to where I don't think you have to prioritize any of them. Ellie De La Cruz is like 6,300 on DraftKings and 4K on FanDuel now. So he's fine, but he's not a must play at that price. Like, I don't think there's an absolute must here at the position. And I don't mind going cheaper with a JD Davis or a Eugenio Suarez. Encarnacion for Cincinnati, I think, is a fine tournament play. So not a night where I think you need to jam in one of these top end third basemen, which is pretty rare these days.
Okay. Carty, your thoughts at third?
Yeah, I like Devers a lot in tournaments. I don't think you're getting there in cash, but I don't think people are going to want to play him against Senga, but I like him a lot tonight. I think he's a top play on the slate. I think I agree with Cards. Like, I don't think this is a day where you have to spend up at third. Like, the high end guys really aren't great. So punting with a guy like Oswald Perez, who's a billion position eligible on FanDuel, you can definitely just punt with him here at third. You can punt with JD Davis. You can punt with Senzel. You can punt with Eugenio Suarez. You can punt with Emmanuel Rivera. That's kind of what I think I will be doing today at third.
How about shortstop, Carty?
Shortstop, the high end is more appealing than third bases. You have Corey Seager, you have Francisco Lindor in a great spot, you have Bobby Witt in a decent spot, and you're probably going to get a little bit of leverage using him over on DK. Again, you have Oswald Perez, who's eligible at second, third, short on FanDuel. If you just want to punt with him here, if you're not using him at one of the other positions, you can. You also have Mookie Betts, who's eligible at short on FanDuel. You know, he's kind of in that top tier. Cheaper guys, you have Jeremy Pena, you have Geraldo Perdomo, you have Zach Neto on DK for $3K leading off against Oviedo. So I think you're probably either like spending up for like a Lindor or a Witt or a Seager, or you're going down to a guy like him.
Cards, what are you doing at short?
Yeah, I like that thought on Zach Neto for the Angels leading off tonight as well.
Is it Neto? Is that how you pronounce it? I never know.
I think so, but I don't watch enough Angels games to know for sure. I think it's Neto, but I could be wrong. You know, you can spend all the way up for Seager if you want, but he's pricey. Again, facing a decent enough pitcher where I don't think you have to. That's a common theme at a lot of these positions tonight. Like, you could go cheap at almost all the infield spots if you want. A, that allows you to spend up on pitching, and B, that could allow you to spend up on the outfield. I don't really have any like additional plays outside of the guys that Carty mentioned. He mentioned Pena, Dubon at short on FanDuel. Chris Taylor's back for the Dodgers and hitting fifth against the lefty. There's pinch hit risk there, but I think I'd probably play Neto over him. You know, even CJ Abrams is a reasonable play. So yeah, you can go short. You can go cheap here at shortstop also.
Okay, then take us into the outfield. By the way, we're kind of flying through the show, but take me into the outfield. We'll get some home run picks after this, and we're going to take your questions after this as well.
Yeah, I kind of figured we were running a little behind after the hiccups at the start, so I was probably
one would think, but no, we're doing all right. By the way, Derek points out we've got 600 people watching, only 166 likes. This is
TJ would not stand for that.
He would not. He'd get you hitting it to 200 for some Spidey bombs. Just keep in mind, and I'm not joking, this show is free because of our sponsor FanDuel, and the more people that watch it, the longer hopefully it will stay free. So hit that thumbs up. It helps more people see it, and hopefully it will keep the show free for as long as humanly possible. So hit the like button. It's for you. What are we doing in the outfield here, Cards?
Yeah, so you should, in theory, because you can go cheap at really any of the positions we've already discussed. Even if you're spending at pitcher, you should have the salary to spend on at least one and probably two outfielders tonight. So the first guy I want to prioritize is Corbin Carroll. Love the matchup. Arizona's offense has been absolutely explosive this week. It's a team that likes to run. Both these teams like to run in Arizona, Cincinnati tonight. You know, and we've got Carroll, good combination of power and speed, 400 plus weighted on base against right-handed pitching so far this year. So he's my preferred spend. Obviously you can always play Acuna if you want, but I like Carroll tonight. Maybe you can get them both, depending on where you're going with the rest of your lineup. Lane Thomas, really good splits against lefties, so I'm fine using him tonight. You got the Houston guys, Tucker, better lefty on lefty this year. McCormick, though he's hitting down in the lineup a little bit more. You got Schwarber. You've got, I think, the Boston guys you could use, Verdugo, Yoshida, as one-offs in GPPs, even against Senga. And so that's pretty much the spendy portion. And I mentioned when we talked about catcher that I love the Giants tonight because we have a little bit less pinch hit risk with that Washington bullpen being so right-handed heavy. So all the Giants outfielders, you've got Peterson, you've got Conforto, and you've got Yastrzemski. They're all pretty cheap. They're all left-handed, and they're all hitting in the middle of the order. They're hitting 2-4-5 for the Giants tonight. So those Giants guys, kind of where I like starting with my value picks tonight.
All right, Carty, I will pass it over to you. What do you like in the outfield?
I agree on the high end. It's weird to see somebody other than Ronald Acuna projecting as the best player on the slate, but Carroll projects better than him today. So yeah, I'm in agreement with Cards. If I'm spending up for one of them, I'll take Carroll. I like the San Francisco thing. Jock Peterson in particular on FanDuel, I think is really well priced. I like Giancarlo Stanton a lot on FanDuel. He's always too cheap, and the power's there, and I don't think Marsh is all that good. So I like that. On DK, Jake McCarthy in the same lineup as Carroll. I love Arizona today. It's a big park upgrade. It's a weak pitcher. McCarthy at 3K is really good. I like some of the cheaper right-handed Seattle bats, especially on DK. 3-3 for Teoscar, 2K for Dylan Moore. Both have the position advantage against Kikuchi, so I like them quite a bit. I like Schwarber a lot. I mentioned Philly is one of my favorite teams. I like Max Kepler for 2-6 on DK. Is just way too cheap hitting cleanup against Lynn. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, good stuff, guys. How about some home run picks here? And Cards, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you like for a bomb? It can be for betting or for DFS purposes.
Yeah, so I like Arizona quite a bit, though I'm not necessarily enamored with Carroll at plus 305 to hit a homer. I think in terms of the Arizona guys, I would maybe take a shot on somebody a little. Even Walker has slightly longer odds. You can get him at like plus 350 a few spots. Walker, if he hits it, it can go a long way. So, yeah, give me Christian Walker as kind of a chalkier one. And then all these Giants lefties, Peterson is about plus 300. Yastrzemski's about plus 320. Conforto's a little bit longer odds at about plus 500 if you want to take a shot on one of those guys. So any of the Giants outfielders plus Christian Walker will go there.
Very good. Carty, you got any names for me?
Yeah, for DFS, Stanton, I think, is the top guy. A little more off the board. I like the Christian Walker thing quite a bit, and I like Jock Peterson. For betting, not a lot of massive value out there today, but the best one looks like Masataka Yoshida plus 925 at 365.
Okay. Very good. Guys, we're getting a whole bunch of questions in, and we've got about 15 minutes until lock. I'll give you a quick weather update here. Still basically only watching that Boston game, and still nothing has really changed. They should still start dry. They should still have a delay at some point. And I still don't really love pitchers in this game. And I think there's a chance, I can't promise you, but there's a chance that delay comes in the 5th inning or earlier. And if it does, then, any pitching under bets. And Carty, I think you have under strikeouts in that game.
Yeah, I've got Senga under strikeouts, which would be really nice if we get like a delay in like the 4th. That would be pretty awesome.
There's not going to be a super early delay, but maybe in those mid innings we could get it. I think mid to late would be more likely, but it's certainly possible on top of all the value on that bet that you already liked, before the weather coming in. Let's dive into some of these QQs here. They're coming hot and heavy on the Discord. A lot of RG folks hanging out in the Discord lately. You should do it as well. Let's see, scrolling up a little bit. Amateur Hour says, hey, Cards, Marsh has got to be playable in GPPs, right?
Yeah, somebody asked this earlier when you were out for a second there, Roth, and Carty responded and basically said, he's not getting there tonight, and I think I agree. Like, I know the Yankees lineup has been disappointing of late, but yeah, I can't get there with Marsh either. I mean, you got so many other options. Schmidt on the other side of that game. You've got Sears. You've got Lynn. I just can't get there with Marsh either.
Okay. Danny, I should have added this in. Danny says, hey, Roth, do you think that after the delay in Boston, they find a way to finish the game? I do, but it's not as if I'm certain of that. There's a lot of storms around, and I'm really only looking at one. If it only takes maybe one more storm after that to move over for them to decide they want to throw in the towel, depending on how late it is. I think bats are likely going to work out okay, but it's not a guarantee that they finish that game once that rain moves in. Let's see what else we got here. FanDuel cash question, Carty. This is for you. You want C. Taylor, Perdomo, or Neto?
I'll take Perdomo.
Amateur Hour says, I think Cards mentioned De La Cruz looked like he was figuring something out, and basically he says Gavin trouble. I totally agree. Who are your favorites, Cards, for a Cincy stack in a DK single entry GPP?
Yeah, I mean, I like both sides of this game tonight. We've got an 11-run total. We got two teams that like to run. We've got a good ballpark. We've got a good umpire per Carty. So I just think that this is a game that could explode into a shootout tonight. So obviously De La Cruz has the most upside. He's also the most expensive. If I'm only doing one lineup that's like a Cincy stack, I think you got to put him in there. In terms of point per dollar, I like Steer. I like Encarnacion, who's cheap. I like Senzel, who's cheap, though there's some pinch hit risk with him. I mean, basically, you really can't go wrong here. Nobody's going to play Votto because it's lefty on lefty. So there's some GPP potential there at low ownership. But we've got like the whole Cincinnati lineup at very modest ownership tonight, which kind of surprises me a little bit.
Okay. A few people saying, hey, Roth, should we fade Mets bats because of weather? I assume they're in Boston, right? The Mets, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I would. There's certainly a chance they don't finish that game. So if you have an equal pivot that you don't care who you're playing, then sure, go with the guy who has no risk in a non-weather game. I think bats probably work out okay. I just can't promise you that. So it's kind of up to your risk tolerance. But I don't think it's a spot where like you have to fade bats by any means. Let's see what else we got here. Carty, what are your thoughts on Oviedo as a cheap pitcher, close to 100 pitch count, the last 4 starts?
Sorry, said Cards.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
You take it.
Well, yeah, I'm not on Oviedo. I mean, the pitch count is obviously there, but he's always been a guy who can throw like 100 pitches in 4 innings, even back to when he was pitching for the Cardinals. Like the command, he was really good at the start of this year, just kind of faded off. And I mean, I know that the Angels aren't this offense that we need to fear. Like if I was building 100 lineups, maybe I can make a case on DraftKings to throw him in a few, but I'd play him before I played Marsh, but I'm just not sure how much that's saying at this point.
Okay. Carty, over to you. FanDuel cash, Steer or Walker, and Stanton or Conforto?
Walker and Stanton.
Very good. Chinatown, DK question for Cards. We've got Carty and the Bats take on this, but what is your cash parent, Cards, if you were playing cash in DK, your SP 1 and 2?
I would probably play Ohtani and Lynn to get a few more extra bats, but I'm fine with the spend up approach too.
Okay, very good. And a follow-up question, actually same guy, and it was perfect with this answer. If you're playing a mid-tier SP2 like Lynn, which of Ohtani versus Valdez is your favorite pay up there?
Yeah, that's close on DraftKings. On FanDuel, the price difference makes it obvious, but on DraftKings, you know, they both got good matchups. They're only priced $200 apart. I would still lean towards Ohtani, but it's really just to give you a name. I don't really think, I mean, like if I was at a point where that $200 difference did matter with my lineup, I'm fine playing Valdez. I wouldn't blow it up to get to Ohtani, but all things being equal, Ohtani's probably the guy I would click in there.
Has Ohtani had a good complete start since he had like the blister issues?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's obviously the concern. The last start, he was basically done when he came out. So okay. I'm looking to see right now how many pitches he was at in that game. He was at 94 pitches his last start. So,
but he came out for the blister still, right?
Correct. Or the fingernail, or I can't remember. There's been 2 separate issues here over the last couple of weeks. But like I said, 10 days before the trading deadline with your superstar, whether they trade him or not, like you wouldn't be throwing him out there against the Pirates unless you are fully convinced that the finger is fine.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, good point. All right, how about this one, Carty? Do the Brewers look good for you? or the bat in a DKGPP. And he says, look good at all. So he's not even asking like, look great, just at all. Did it look good at all?
They're not terrible, but they would be pretty near the bottom of my list.
Okay. Cheyenne says, starting a little late. Are the Mets bats safe weather-wise? I never use the word safe. I think it works out okay for them. I wouldn't fade the bats, but it's not like I can guarantee you 9 innings for what it's worth. There is at least some risk there. Rocky Raccoon says, Cards, ding-dong one-off. We need a favorite ding-dong one-off, 2,500 or under on Fanduel. I assume this is in the util here.
Does ding dong one off mean a guy that can hit a home run, or
I think
just
so. Or is he a
guy,
ding dong?
or the guy that's not very smart? I'm not sure. 2,500 or less.
2,500 or less. We'll call it the util. He says, I was thinking Vogelbach, but I don't
play Vogelbach.
Okay.
I'd play McNeil if you're looking Mets. I'd play McNeil before Vogelbach. Or was this cash or GPP?
I didn't say, actually.
It probably doesn't matter. I think I might play McNeil anyway, unless you want to play like Franchi Cordero or Oswald for the Yankees leading off would be fine as well.
Okay, excellent. We'll go to a sides question, Carty. FanDuel Cash. We got 6-7 minutes until lock, ladies and gentlemen. Last piece, McCarthy or Kepler, Carty?
They're both viable. I think I probably go McCarthy first.
Okay. DK single entry GPP. Cards, back to you. I'm playing a Cincy stack. Help me with this 2v2. Stevenson, Senzel, or Sable, and Steer?
I think I'd probably go the 2 reds in that case.
Okay. Jay Sams has some pinch hit risk questions for you, Carty. Can you pull that up for us?
Yep.
Okay. He is looking for Stone Garrett and Travis Jankowski.
All right.
Different teams.
Stone Garrett, 15%. Jankowski, 9%. So
right.
Neither one major, but
very good. FanDuel Cash, Carty coming right back to you, a little back-to-back. Your boy Encarnacion Strand and El Gurriel or Perdomo and Conforto?
The second one.
Okay. Cards, this is a season-long fantasy question. You think you can handle this?
Maybe. Ask me and I'll tell you.
Would you start Fraley over Buxton, even though Fraley isn't starting? And he says in parentheses, I'm not kidding with this question.
Need the context there. I mean, I'm not sure if like starts are a thing, like if there's a games maximum, or I mean, if we've got the context, I can answer the question, but I can't just say, yeah, start a guy that's not starting.
I can't think of a single context where you're not starting Buxton in that situation, but
okay. All right.
Yeah, well, I don't unless there's something obvious that we're missing, like you're setting your lineup for a full week tonight for some reason. You just play Buxton.
Okay. DePrince, Vogelbach or Fry? Cards, Vogelbach or Fry?
Neither, being totally honest.
Okay, that's fine. If you
Vogelbach, if you force me to pick one.
Okay. I'm jumping into the YouTube channel. Of course, we start with the RG Discord, so make sure you're hopping in that. We've cleared those questions. I'm jumping into the YouTube channel here. Yayaz says, is there a reason G-Man is rating high tonight, Carty? High pinch hit? Do you prefer France?
Yeah, so I saw the question. I looked into it. He's really not rating that highly. When you sort by point per dollar, he's like kind of up there. It's really just that he's cheap and he's hitting cleanup and he's a decent hitter. Like he's against Ohtani. I don't really think he's a guy you're going out of your way to play.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, Cards. I'm thinking about going either Valdez, this is from Marcus, thinking going Valdez, Schmidt, or Soroka is my SP2. Who would you prefer and who would you pair with him in a $1 GPP?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of context there as well because Valdez is so much more expensive.
I misread that.
Okay.
Can I go again? He's going Valdez with Schmidt or Soroka as SP2.
Okay.
Which would you choose in a $1 GPP?
Got it. I would choose Schmidt. I am not sold on Soroka. We just haven't seen enough out of him. He missed a long time due to injury. We're talking seasons worth of time. And I don't mind targeting pitchers against Milwaukee, but I'm just not ready to do it with Soroka yet. So yeah, give me Schmidt there.
Okay, got 2-3 minutes here. We'll get that one after lock. J Sam says, FanDuel, I need a dirt cheap pitcher. Can Carty comment on the projection gap between Cutter and Alex Wood? Is Wood that much better in the spot? Both have a 4.5K line.
I'm trying to find. Wow, Cutter projects as the worst pitcher on the slate. So yeah, I prefer Alex Wood. I think Wood is a better pitcher, and he's in a better matchup. He's against a much weaker offense, and in a better park. And I prefer Wood.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Rukin Verde says, Cards, I'm using Lance Lynn. For my other pitcher, Ranger Suarez is my gut pick, or do I go Schmidt and leave 2K salary on the table? It's a large field DK GPP.
No, go Schmidt and use 2K to upgrade a bat somewhere. You can upgrade somebody. Surely you can upgrade a bat for $2,000.
Right. And there's that doesn't necessarily make it chalk, especially if you're going with Schmidt and Lance Lynn, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, Schmidt will be somewhat popular and Lynn will be somewhat popular, but the Schmidt-Lynn combination won't be mega popular unless it's a complete stack of like an expensive offense like the Braves or something. But, you know, even if it doesn't fit like your stack, you could still use that 2K extra and upgrade to a really high-end one-off bat. Like, there's no problem with using Corbin Carroll or Acuna or somebody with a huge ceiling as a one-off bat to use that extra 2K in salary.
Okay, great. Andrew Martinez, you guys, less than a minute until lock. Any interest in Miller as a pitching option? Either of you? Miller?
Not here.
No, not here either. I think he's coming back from injury, if I'm remembering right. He's going to be limited with his pitch count a little bit.
Okay. MT Red Sox is Marsh or Oviedo for SP2 in a DK tournament. I think you were both on Oviedo over Marsh. Is that right?
I was on neither.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a strong conviction. I'll take Oviedo if I have to pick one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question, Carty, even though I know you're not going to like it. CLT Go Blue says, Carty, does the bat weigh more heavily the revenge factor for Heaney or the know the pitcher factor for the Dodger hitters? And would SP2 Heaney be stupid in the DK GPP?
Know the pitcher factor actually has a chance of being somewhat real because we do see times through the order penalties. We see recent start penalties. So
No
that's the one
penalty though.
But SP2 Haney, I don't think is stupid at all for DK GPPs. I mean, Haney's a boom bust guy, but when Haney is on, he can pitch 6 innings with 12 strikeouts and no runs. Like that's in his ceiling. So I like Haney a lot today.
And he does that oftentimes when nobody expects him to. Like it's obviously just a bit of a fluke, but the times when Andrew Haney seems to be massive chalk, like facing Oakland or something, he tends to get lit up. And the times he's 0, 2, 3% owned are when he kind of pulls those gems out, seems like. So yeah, it's variance there, obviously, but he's always an interesting tournament play when he's getting no attention.
Okay. We got this post-lock question. We hit lock, by the way. Good job, ladies and gentlemen. J Sam says, first off, did you notice J Sam's has been hanging out with us forever in the Discord? There is another J Sam who is J Sam's toy, which is really weird. So we got J Sam and J Sam's toy hanging out with us in the Discord. But J Sam says, FanDuel single entry cards. Is it crazy to have Seager as my spend up, parentheses, paying up for Ryan, with cheaper pieces around him like Duran and Jankowski?
I mean, that's in a stack, I presume. So yeah, I mean, they are off my radar as a stack tonight. Just because Gonsolin is really difficult to string hits together against. But I mean, I don't think that approach is bad if you are committed to stacking Texas.
Okay, there you have it. With that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to make sure kids are doing okay. So for Cards and for Carty, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.